welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today is the release of the Into the Wilderness collection. I cannot believe it is literally the final soap making video for this collection. If you didn't already know, I actually polled my Instagram followers to find out how I should theme all of these soaps. I had the fragrances picked out and I had the designs made, but I could sort of go two different directions with the theme itself, and Instagram picked the direction for me. So if you want to be more involved in some of the soap collections, maybe some upcoming scents, go follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Today we're making enoki and wild moss. This is one of my favorite fragrances I have ever crafted. I am really hoping that I can use it in more products in the future. If you wait to the end of the video, I will also give you some scent descriptions for all the different soaps. This is something that is pretty heavily requested every month, is that I describe the fragrance in a little bit more detail. And so without further ado, let's make that frosted soap. The first thing we're gonna do is mix our lye water solution into our oils. Glug, 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 glug. Blend, blend, blend. Okay, for our first layer, we're gonna go with a very dark, sort of chocolatey brown. Think forest floor. Pour this in very slowly. It looks a little low, but I'm trusting you. Now pour in our color. Time to add in the fragrance. This is one of my favorite scents I've ever made. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it really is so good, and it would smell excellent in a variety of products. So I'm excited to use it in the future, not just for soap, but in other things that we carry. I don't know how fast this is going to thicken, so I'm just gonna mix by hand. Let's scoot y'all out a little bit. I'll pour it this way today. That'll be fun. We'll change it up. All right. Okay, this is setting up perfectly. I am just going to texture a little bit, just like so. Awesome. We're just gonna let that set up a little bit more while we move on to our next layer. This next layer is going to be a very dark green. And I have used a little bit of spirulina powder to make it even darker. Ah, that is so pretty. I don't like using either spirulina or any really other botanicals as the only color for soap, because they will fade over time. Those really bright greens will eventually get very lackluster and kind of lose their color unless you let them sit for a long time in oil and sort of like let the color leach into the oil. That requires a lot of management. And if I was a natural soap company, that's exactly what I would do. But because I have options to kind of boost those colors with other colorants, it's really the best of both worlds, because I get to use the botanical additives as well as something like a green oxide, some sort of earth-based colorants. And I love the speckledy look of spirulina. It always shows up in the final result. So yeah, best of both worlds. That fragrance is to die for. This is the perfect blend of earthy and fresh. It is more earthy based, and a lot of you guys have asked for those fragrances over the years. I shied away from them because I didn't know how to make them complex enough. Basically, whenever I heard the word earthy, I just thought of single fragrance notes like Palo Santo, cedar wood, pine, and it was always like a tree smell. And I don't know why. I never thought about trying to create something more complicated than that, or learning how to balance fragrance notes well so that you're not just getting an overwhelming smell of one thing, which is another reason why I'm so excited for you guys to get to smell these fragrances, because they're complicated and it's fun. I talked in another video about trying to do my best to bring original scent to the table, about saying I didn't want to be another duplication small business where all of their fragrances are just dupes of larger brands. I really want to develop my own signature fragrances that people think of Royalty Soaps and they're like, oh yeah, they have this scent that I really love and that's unique. And I like like to think about my fragrances in a lot of applications. Like I want to think about, would this translate well in a lotion? Would it smell good on dry skin? Would it smell good on wet skin? Would it smell good in the shower? Would it smell good if maybe you hadn't had a shower in a while and you were trying to like just throw something on in your car real quick? Not necessarily as like odor masking, but just like kind of as like a quick pick-me-up. So when I test fragrances, I like to apply them in a variety of situations to see if they still work out and if they still smell good. Okay, so for this layer, I am actually going to add a cocoa powder line. I didn't do that for the bottom layer because you wouldn't be able to see it since that dark brown is truly so dark. You'll be able to see it on this one though because the color is light green on top. And I like cocoa powder because one, it's inexpensive, and two, it has really good coverage. All right, let's cover this. Also, cocoa powder is so much easier to use in smaller molds. I mean, honestly, any mica line is going to be way easier in a mold like this than in a big one, in my opinion, because you don't have to keep like refilling your strainer. You can just fill it up one time, and that's pretty much enough coverage for your entire batch. How do you know you're done? Maybe you see a few spots that still look dry. That's how I know I'm done, because all of this has soaked right in, and then there's a few spots that are taking a little bit longer. If you make it too thick, you may have your layers separate, so you don't want that. But just a few spots that are taking a little longer to soak in, that's a good sign. Nice. Okay, next layer.
This video is brought to you by the farmer's dog, but before we feed Barnabas, I have got to give that dog a bath. Barnabas is filthy. Like, he has spent the last 3 days, I am convinced, just rolling around in the sand. And while he doesn't particularly love a bath, he will submit to me cleaning him, and he is always hilarious when he gets out of the shower. I always try to put a little bit of paw cream on him, and he does not like to submit to that because he's always got the zoomies and he just wants to play. But most of the time I can get a little bit of leave-in conditioner on his fur. Barnabas's favorite part of the day by far is breakfast time, and that is made so simple and easy thanks to the farmer's dog. We switched Barnabas to the farmer's dog a few months ago, and since then I have seen a lot of incredible changes. He does not bloat. He does not have the gas problems he used to have, which I can tell you were immense. His coat looks super shiny and healthy. Like, I cannot recommend the farmer's dog enough. And honestly, I'm going to be sticking with the farmer's dog for multiple reasons. Not only have I seen such an improvement in Barnabas's overall health and happiness, but I have also had a really, really great experience with their customer service. I did have one customer service need at the beginning of my farmer's dog journey, and they took care of everything so quickly. They literally had a replacement pack ready to go within 24 hours. Like, they rush shipped it. They're so easy to talk to. I really like that it's on a schedule that I do not have to micromanage because it's a subscription. His food ships automatically. The packs are pre-portioned, and they set instruction for feeding based on his weight and his age. Like, you take a really cute little doggy questionnaire at the beginning. So I just like the ease of use of the whole thing. Barnabas is getting like the best quality food imaginable. I'm not having to think about it multiple times a month. It's a win-win for everybody. If you would like to try the farmer's dog for your furry friend, you can use my link down in the description box below to get 50% off your first box from the farmer's dog. Plus, you'll get free shipping and 24/7 customer support. So click the link down in the description box below or scan the QR code on screen now to try the farmer's dog. Again, I cannot recommend the farmer's dog enough. And a big thank you to the farmer's dog for sponsoring today's video. And let's get back into the soap making.
Okay, so for this layer, I'm gonna add a little bit of gold. We're gonna tie some of the color back into the soap. I have some really, really pretty embeds that are going on top. I'm gonna use some King touch for this. This is from Mad Micas. A really pretty, super shiny yellow gold. I forgot to center you guys. Let's get our last layer in. Gotta make sure we're evenly distributed here. Okay, I think we're good. That took an exceptional amount of time, and I still have to do frosting. It's okay. It's good. It smells incredible. It's gonna look great. I have some things to clean up, and then we'll get started on the soap frosting and putting all the embeds in because they're super pretty. All right, let's get to frosting. I feel like when you have a moss fragrance, you need frosting that is the perfect shade of green. And I also feel like, even though I typically do use this particular frosting tip, it really is good for this particular fragrance. More so than most, because moss has those little softy ridges, you know, when it's in the forest and it's like on the little stumps. So I feel like this is just perfect. I am trying to make this relatively flat on top because I do have some bigger embeds. All right, I'm gonna fill this in on top just a teeny tiny bit to fill in the gaps. Okay, so let's put a little bit of this green gold glittery mica on top. Yeah, I think this is the perfect addition. Okay, and now on the top, we're gonna put some autumn leaves, and I'm gonna alternate. Yeah, this looks really, really good. All right, now for some pine cones on the side, and then we'll put a little cranberry on the other side. I really need to spritz these pine cones. This entire soap will look much prettier after it's been spritzed with rubbing alcohol. And I'm putting the pine cones in upside down and right side up just for fun. Hey, pine cones can fall however, you know? This soap is very whimsical, very cottagecore. Lots of the girlies who liked the bookshop soap, you'll definitely like this. The fragrance, again, a little more earthy than the bookshop fragrance. That one literally kind of smelled like a library, which again, in a soap, I feel like I should have thought about that a little bit. I think I kept telling myself that that was a good soap fragrance, but in hindsight, I don't think I would do that again. All right, 2 more, and then we'll pop our little cranberry in on the side. I'll do this side first because I think it's easier for you to see. I guess it could be a cranberry, it could be a, is that called a lingonberry or a lingonberry? I think it's lingonberry. They always have stuff at IKEA in the lingonberry flavor, which I think is really good. Very tart. Last embed. All right. This looks so good. It's so autumnal. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I can't wait. It smells great, looks great. Let's wait 18 to 24 hours and then we'll take a peek at the inside after this quick commercial break. This looks so good the next day. I am super pleased with the colorway. The fragrance is strong, but not overpowering, just the way we like it. Okay, I think this is lined up just right. I'm gonna press down gently. Pull one out of the middle, and this is what it looks like on the inside. So you can see we have a very clear definition between all of the layers. Our gold turned out really pretty. Our dark cocoa powder line turned out really pretty. If you look really, really close, you can actually see the spirulina in there as well. But this one turned out exactly how I wanted it to. I literally won't be making any edits at all. Caleb was reminding me right before I started filming like how many different moss species there are. And the thing that brought awareness to that was us watching 𝘚𝘰𝘢𝘭𝘵 designs here on YouTube. At night when we're getting ready for bed, we love some soothing content. We love 𝘚𝘰𝘭𝘵 designs. Basically what he does is make incredible animal habitats. And he has lots of different types of animals. He has fish and frogs and a snapping turtle. And he he uses a ton of different types of moss in all of his enclosures. He is like one of my absolute favorite YouTubers. He has incredibly wholesome content, safe for kids to watch, super relaxing for adults to watch. I'll link his channel down below. But yeah, he puts moss into all those enclosures, and that's what got me to thinking about all the different types of moss there are. So I guess my question of the day involves moss. What's your favorite type of moss? And if you don't know that, that is a very wholesome and relaxing activity to do. Google different types of moss. I'll put some on the screen for you now, and let's talk about it in the comments below. It is perfect, no edits, no changes. And before we say goodbye, let's go ahead and talk about some of the fragrance notes for each of the soaps in the Into the Wilderness collection. For enoki and wild moss, we have fresh air, forest mushrooms, green moss, Japanese white tea, and ozone. This is my personal favorite fragrance of the month. It's a little bit earthy, a little bit fresh. For campfire latte, the fragrance notes are fresh brewed coffee, cream, praline, and burnt sugar. Campfire latte is one of the lightest fragrances of the month. Don't say I didn't tell you. It's our gourmand as well, so think a little bit sweeter. For lavender, vanilla, oak, the fragrance notes are oak trees, wild lavender, French vanilla beans, and a little bit of powdery musk. If you don't typically like the smell of lavender, this is another one of the good ones that I have to try because it has a nice blend of sweetness and a little bit of earthiness to sort of round out that floral. For Pacific Rainfall, the fragrance notes are petrichor, wild nettle, fresh rain, and amber. If you enjoy the Royalty Soaps Rainfall fragrance, this is like the sophisticated older sister to that fragrance. You still get that petrichor smell, but I've added some more complicated things in there just to make it even more realistic. And for Wood Smoke and Saffron, the fragrance notes are sandalwood, cedarwood, saffron, tobacco, smoke, and bergamot. This is Caleb's favorite fragrance of the month. This is the one that he said has a balance between smoky, like a tobacco smoke, think tobacco smoke, not like smoke in the air, and also a little bit fresh, hence the bergamot. If you want to read more about the scent strength of each fragrance and just some final notes and thoughts that I've had about this entire collection, I wrote a blog post about it, which you can go read at royaltysoaps.com. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. We are literally so close to the end of 2025. I absolutely cannot believe it. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that's putting on a cozy sweater for, I don't know, just some autumn vibes, or whipping up a new latte at your house. And you know what? I will say this, I read almost every single comment on, what was it? I think it was the campfire latte video where I talked about wanting to get the Breville Barista. Y'all help me with the math. I think it's worth it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get it this year for Black Friday. So thank you all for 100% pumping me up on that purchase. Now you guys know, I don't really care what you do. Just do something for you today. Now I mentioned some really fun things. Sometimes that thing for you to do is getting a little movement in for your little body. Don't sit there and crust in bed all day, okay? I recently restarted doing some at-home workouts, just 20 minutes, no extra equipment. I'm not driving to the gym, but just getting a little movement in so that my bones don't condense and I don't look like this when I'm 80. Sometimes that's what doing something for you looks like, okay? And I will see you all in the next one. So until then, bye for now. Meow.